What's going on, guys? I hope everybody... Excuse me. I hope everybody had a happy holiday, whatever you celebrate. I feel like I haven't made a video in a while, but we had Christmas and New Year's. So just lots of stuff going on. Anyway, so the season 4 of Yellowstone just concluded a few days ago, and I already talked a little bit about Yellowstone on the channel, and I wasn't really gonna say too much about it because I already shared my take of it being a little bit overrated, in my opinion, just because I've seen shows that are much better with much less praise and popularity than what I feel like this show gets. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good quality show, but I've just seen much better, is what I'm trying to say, than what I hear people talking about. You know what I mean? And this season, particularly, kind of stuck out with some problems where it's like, okay, I'm not the only one who's like seeing that this is like, it's just okay. I've heard other people talk about it and be like, this season wasn't the best. And while I did enjoy that, I think it was easier to follow for me, because the previous 3 seasons, I want to say, it's hard for me to discern those 3 seasons, by the way, because I watched them all. I binged them all together. But I do believe that all 3 of them had more of a political element to them. While this one did, I think it was a little bit lighter and not really all that heavy-handed in the story, or not too much progressed with it. So this season was easier for me to follow, is what I'm trying to say. But that also could be there wasn't very much going on, and what was going on either pretty much has been going on before, or it just was more of an isolated small story. I don't know. I worry that this is happening with Yellowstone too, because the writer of Yellowstone is actually the same guy. I just found this out. Maybe everybody else has already known, but it's the same guy who plays the shaved head cowboy, who works for the Texas ranch, who runs that Texas ranch. That is Taylor Sheridan, or however you pronounce his last name. So yeah, but anyway, he's doing kind of what Walking Dead did, and this only really scares me because I've seen how badly it's went for Walking Dead. He's starting to do his own Yellowstone universe, which basically what that means is, we know Yellowstone is really popular, so we're going to slap the Yellowstone universe on all these different shows, or say that these shows take place within the Yellowstone universe, to get more people to, watch these other shows that are being written by him. I'm not saying he's a bad writer. I've heard some interviews and stuff with him, and, he does seem to really know his craft or whatever, obviously, and take his time with it, and, know what works and what doesn't for his personal taste and all that, I saw him, and I liked him in Sons of Anarchy too, by the way. But yeah, so I worry that Yellowstone is kind of going to get just used up for its popularity, and less writing will be able to be put into the main show because it's being kind of spread out through all these other shows. I'm really not sure for sure how it works with the other shows, but I know 1883, some of the flashbacks has been put into this show as a segue into that new show, 1883. So basically what I'm trying to say, I'm worried his attention is just going to get spread too thin. However, this isn't an 1883 review, but I have seen 1883 for the first 3 episodes that are out, and I really enjoy it. I think it's a really good show as a backstory to John's family and Yellowstone. It's very good, better than season 4. I think I like it. I don't know if I want to say, yeah, I think I'm enjoying it more than I have any of the seasons of Yellowstone, just off of the first 3 episodes. I really like, the atmosphere and the story, easy to follow, and just, I don't know, the characters are really engaging. But anyway, that's not a review for 1883, but I will say check it out for sure if you enjoy Yellowstone. So anyway, we'll just go through pretty quickly, because obviously it's a whole season, so I can't break down every single thing, about it at this point. But so of course, starting out this season, we had the cliffhanger with who died, if anybody died, if it was John, if it was Beth or Casey. I'm really bad with names, bear with me. But none of them died. I called it. Me and my sister talk about this show all the time, and I told her, they're all going to be fine, because Yellowstone is famous for doing that. I think it's one of my complaints with it before this season. They'll act like something crazy is about to happen, some big story-changing moment, and it just happens just to happen, just to draw your attention. Nothing really comes from it. No storylines or anything, and that's what I mean. We got a storyline from this, but what I'm saying is it was a cheap cliffhanger, because one of the three of them definitely should have died from this, or have been more injured than what they were. I know they did a time skip, but it just felt so cheap the way it happened, and then they moved on from it like nothing really happened. Yeah, some of them should have died for sure. John, he's been dealing with cancer. He's an old man. He got shot up a bunch. Of course, I didn't want him to die. But what I'm saying is, don't tease me that hard, if you're not going to do anything big, like kill off Casey. I think you could have killed off Casey, out of all of them, just based on how his story was this season anyway, But no, but again, with that, I will say that the opening action from that in the first few minutes, Casey going and mowing everybody down, and Beth coming out like, okay, it was like, what the fuck, but, the sound, the distortion and everything, all of that came from the cliffhanger. It was really engaging for like the first maybe 10-20 minutes of the episode, but yeah, after that, it just kind of all faded out, and it was like, wow, or maybe it was in episode 2, it just, okay, it was what I expected. So that's that. And then the Jimmy storyline for this season, I think they had potential to do something really good with this. Have him get completely broken, as they kind of act like that was going to be the case for him in Texas. Just have him get really broken down by these cowboys or whatever it is they're doing there in Texas. Be worse than the Yellowstone for him. But no, he pretty much follows his exact same story that he had in Yellowstone, and somehow becomes a, like people say whenever he gets back to Yellowstone, wow, Jimmy, you changed, you're a man now. How? He went and he did the same thing. If anything, he had it better in Texas. They were nicer to him in Texas than they were at Yellowstone, and that wasn't even the point at all for him going there. So that was just so dumb and frustrating to watch, really. Especially, like I said, when it had potential to really change Jimmy's character. And you see it by the end of the season, like, wow, Jimmy, you you went through it, you changed, you became a man. But no, not at all. Or I even thought, and they still could, I guess, but I don't think so, where this girl is like, inside working for Texas or something, Texas people, where they're going to trick him. And I don't know. I was expecting him to be getting tricked by her in some way and being like, haha, you fell for it again, you idiot. You didn't learn your lesson. But no. And then for him to bring her back in front of the girl, what do they call them? The barn girls. I know they have a name for them. I just can't remember right now. But it's going to bother me if I can't remember, but anyway, the girl that he was with in Yellowstone, he brings his fiance back in front of her, and then he's like, oh, we discussed an option that you didn't. Well, why didn't you discuss that option with her, Jimmy? I'm pretty sure, maybe he did, but I don't think he ever said, like, you come with me. Maybe he did, I don't know. But it was just like, Jimmy's character, I'm just over it. If he goes to Texas and we don't see him again, at the beginning of the season, I would have cared. Now I don't care, I could care less, Yeah. So that's that. But I've heard that we might be getting a spinoff of Jimmy in Texas. So, yeah, I don't know what they're doing with that, if this has anything to do with that. Anyway, gotta move on here. Kind of got a long list. And then John and Rip in the diner, when they shoot up the diner, was just absolutely just so stupid, like I said, my sister watches the show, and she talked to me. I talked to her about it a little bit. And she was like, I think it was something to do with the horses outside. And I was like, oh, maybe. That's why they did it. I don't know. But then in the next episode, Beth, at least I think, calls John out for how stupid it was. But yeah, it didn't really have anything to do with anything. It was very basically a diner getting held up, and John and Rip go up there and shoot up the bad guys. And the reason I say it was stupid is because if they hadn't have went in there guns blazing in a fight that they couldn't handle, then the people in this diner more than likely would have just gotten their loose change taken. I'm pretty positive. I would bet something on that, and that would be it. And they wouldn't have gotten shot at. That cop wouldn't have lost their life if John and Rip hadn't have went in there trying to be Billy Badass and provoke a fight that they couldn't, handle, the two of them. You just call the police, leave. I don't know. Yeah, call the police and leave. I mean, I know that one of the cops was already there, but yeah, that was just so stupid. Just trying to do some cowboy shit and ended up getting people hurt in the long run. Yeah, just reckless and dumb. Just another thing where it felt like they needed to put in some action, and there wasn't really a smart way to do that, so they just did it in a dumb way, just to me. Now this with, okay, so the Jamie, the blame, this, Beth blaming Jamie. Alright, well, okay, we'll start with John blaming Jamie. So John tries to, and I'm not good with the political stuff, I'll admit, so maybe I'm missing something here, but it seemed like John took Jamie's place in the running for governor or whatever, right? Or made it so Jamie couldn't run how he wanted to, whatever. To hurt Jamie is the way the scene played out in one episode. Whenever John, at this point, knew that Jamie didn't have anything to do with him almost dying, or he was pretty sure, because he had Casey in a previous episode go fill out with John, or with Jamie, and be like, hey Jamie, did you have anything to do with it? And he told Casey no. Casey went back to John and said, I don't think he did. And John seemed to believe Casey. But John still goes and tries to really fuck up Jamie's day for some reason. As does Beth, every fucking chance that she gets. Which I'm sure, my sister, I know she's a huge fan of Beth. Which I'm sure a lot of other people are too. And I have to say, the actress, phenomenal. Her and Rip's relationship really carried the show, I think, for sure, and their acting, and yeah, but the way she treats Jamie to me is kind of disgusting. I understand what Jamie did to her when they were younger, and what that's taken from her life, and of course I don't understand it as deeply as I can, because don't have the desire to be like a mother, or even like a parent right now, right? Like maybe she does, but I think that she should be able to see that even if he was, let's say, 18, I know things that I've done at 18 versus now, at 23, are very different, different mindsets, and I'm sure by the time I'm like 30, it'll be different from how I am now at 23, So what I'm saying is she shouldn't really hold Jamie accountable for whatever his mindset was at that point, and his right way of thinking of what he was doing, I think at some point she should be able to let that, I know it's tough to say let it go, but you can, at the very least, hold on to your bitterness and all that for sure, but to take it to this level, to have him kill his own father, or to be mad at him in the first place when he didn't kill his own father, just such abuse to him, unwarranted, I think. In my opinion, I'm sure people will argue that, like, no, he took this from her, he knew what the fuck he was doing, whatever, I think you just kind of have to mature and have a more mature mindset, than that, and just look at it from a different perspective. I don't know, but I can't stand the way Jamie gets treated, honestly, and just bullied, by her. It's disgusting, it's beyond like a brother-sister thing. It's hate. It's horrible. So yeah, that's just me defending Jamie, but and saying, he had nothing to do with it, but he's getting blamed like he did. I'm pretty much on Jamie's side when I feel like there's more Duttons to be on the side of than Jamie. I know he's a Dutton, but it's just tough, I think, with that. Anyway, okay, so Beth and Rip get a kid to take care of, which is entertaining, the new little kid, how it parallels Rip's story, right? And how Rip kind of knows how to deal with them off the bat. You think Rip's being too tough on the kid, but then you kind of come back and you're like, okay, Rip's got the right idea. But this was also a little bit too similar to Tate, I think, in some ways, the way Tate was around the Cowboys when he was younger. And I get how it kind of works for Beth and Rip. So, it is different, them having their own kid dynamic. I like it. But again, it's just a little bit too similar. We've had this kind of kid at the Yellowstone thing before, and the way he bonds with John, Okay, so Casey's story was probably the weakest of the entire season, I think. He's got like a Jon Snow thing going on where I hope it builds up to him having a huge role in the story or something. I don't think so, though, because it certainly didn't play out that way for Jon Snow, right? But yeah, he's just kind of a lot of like, I don't know what's going on with Casey. Actually, I don't. At the beginning of the story, the season, we got him like bullying the one guy. That was kind of cool. And a badass scene that I liked too earlier on in the season. This was a scene for John. He got a few good ones. I like whenever he's walking away and the kid is like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be that guy. He wants to be John when he grows up, yeah, absolutely, right? Pretty cool. And then there was another scene with John where he has the fair fight with the guy who I believe tried to kill him. I'm having trouble remembering now. But he gives him the gun. And he has a badass line like something, I'll see you in hell, or it wasn't that, but it was something cool. I have trouble remembering now, but yeah, he gives the guy the gun and lets the guy take off a few shots before he kills him because, John's a badass. He wants to live out that cowboy life for the most part. So that was a cool scene in the first few episodes. But let's see. Yeah, so Casey's wife is pregnant. And Casey's doing shrooms with the Indians, and he's got some girl out there that has a crush on him. That's, I guess, supposed to symbolize the fans, because the female fans really like Casey, I guess. Yeah, that's Casey's story. Him and his family left Yellowstone, and yeah, their scenes are just so like. I think Casey's character had a lot of potential, still does, but. I don't know. I feel like the only characters that really mattered this season was Beth, John, obviously, and I guess fucking Jimmy, but not really, I feel like it was just a Beth and John show, quite honestly. I mean, I know we got the shit with Lloyd and Walker, but that felt kind of strange. I mean, I guess it had been a long time coming. I think Lloyd just kind of felt kind of like old and... seeing young Walker, kind of getting with the girls and everything, you just, I guess it was interesting and fun to watch it play out, but still in the grand scope of the story, it's like, we only get 10 episodes for this, I don't know how many more, they're planning this show like it's going to be a lot of seasons, I'm thinking, I don't know, but I just, more stuff that strings along in the grand scheme of things, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it was entertaining to watch again, but yeah, so there was that. And then, let's see. Yep, dialogue good, we get to see Beth kind of get broken by John a little bit at the end, but, then she kind of just comes back and does her own thing anyway, makes Jamie kill his father, so I thought they were going somewhere cool with Beth's story where she kind of got a little bit softer and broken by John. But like I said, they wrapped that up within like an episode, so, yeah. And then the flashbacks for 1883, we're in there, 1883, absolutely awesome. Go check it out. I'm going to be watching the Yellowstone flashbacks after seeing 1883. I think they'll hit much harder. But yeah, those were just some of the notes I had for this season. Let me know, what you think about it and the different things I brought up. Mainly, like, is Jamie, do you think he's in the right or the wrong? If they're treating him too harshly, is there something that I missed? I think that's what I'm most curious about, as far as people's thoughts. You know, I just feel bad for the dude. I don't know what John and I'm sure there's got to be something I'm forgetting here, right? With that, but so yeah. All right. Well, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.